Hello everyone, this is MV broadcasting from a slightly better weather-wise Cardiff, Wales. It's bright and sunny outside and we're being transported into the Howie Shanks Bingo League. And today's matchup is between the Cleveland Spiders and Beatles' internally team Mudville. The owner of the Spiders is Big Clue. So once again I seem to have a problem with the photos. That was not on. So I may abort. Let's just see what's happening here. I just had the photos on. What I'm trying to do also is not... Yep, photos are there, so okay, they are there. I thought so, they'll show up in a minute. What I am trying to show is... I'm trying not to show is the result of earlier on broadcast from Steve Tate. So I'll do my best. I know what the result was, but I don't want to spoil it for anyone. So I'm going to pick up Big Clue's team here, okay, and I'm going to, it says Russ Ford is the next pitcher, so Russ Ford it is, and it should choose the lineup, and let's just see the opponent. The opponent's lineup is going to be Claude Osteen. Yes, he was there. Let's have a look at the rotation. He is number 2 starter. It's a number 2 game. So that picked it quite well. So now the lineups. Now this is a Mudville's lineup. I can't see a saved lineup, so I'll wait for someone to join just to see if they might suggest anyone else. But he did pick the pitchers, so I'm really pleased with that. This is MV welcoming everyone into the channel. This is a Bingo Draft League game, or the Howie Shanks Bingo Draft League game. And Steve Tate, we've had the pleasure of Steve Tate earlier on today. Beatles attended last night, and myself yesterday. We're taking it in rotation. So, bear with me as I get set up. Okay, got my YouTube set up, got my monitor set up. Here we go. So, the photos have loaded quite nicely this time. The ballpark for Cleveland doesn't seem to have uploaded, so I don't have it. But it's supposed to be Sportsman's Park 3. I don't think I have it. So, I'm going to have to go with the default picture, but it will have the ballpark effects of Sportsman's Park 3. So there's the lineup. Wally Backman looks like he's going to run around it, or should we bench him? Shall I be wicked and bench Backman? Let's have a look. View the opponent. Seems like the roster limits haven't carried through. I know the lineups did and the schedule did. Russ Ford will go against Claude Osteen. Russ Ford is pitching for Cleveland today. That looks like a good lineup. Has he saved any lineups? Not that I can see. But we'll go with that one. And this one lineup has got Wally Backman. Now, I'm not sure he would really want Wally Backman, but he's been picked, so I'll go with that one. And that's a computer versus right. Yep. View opponent. Computer versus Osteen is a righty. No, Osteen is a lefty. So this will be a lineup versus lefty. Computer versus lefty. So Trespica comes in. Really? Interesting. Okay, so that's the lineup for today. Big Clue, if you do come into the chat. Hey, get Wagner in there for Beatles. Thank you, World's Worst Gamer. I was just thinking, where's Honus? He doesn't automatically come up, does he? Strangely. Where should we bat him? So he should come in at shortstop. Honus Wagner will come in at short. And take over from Dick Grote. I suspect Honus Wagner. Where should we bat him, Worlds? Welcome in, World's Worst Gamer. Where should we bat him, Beatles? If you're watching this, we've got you. The big game you can take tonight between Todd and Steve again, if you want. I won't do that one, and I won't do Mike's one. But I might do the others. So Honus Wagner is it there. Let's move him up. Johnny Bench seems too low. There are no preset lineups I can choose from. Well, what we could do is do it ourselves. Any suggestions? What we'll do is I'll just mess around with myself. So he's up against a right-hander. So if I go to the bat left righty, OPS, Mookie Betts is in there, that's fine. Wookie Betts as a 384. Let's do it on board. Andrew McCutcheon. You know he likes McCutcheon. He likes McCutcheon more than Vader Pinson, possibly not. I think I'm happy with that. Let's move Wagner up though. Johnny Bench. Wow, this is a loaded team. Wally Backman. Really? We'll take Backman out because we know Backman's a DH. We'll take him out. Let's see Jackie Robinson in there, shall we? In place of Wally Backman. Can't have Backman as a DH. Really? Pinson's a 10. Betts is a 10. Need 2 power hitters there. Clift. What's Clift like? Clift. Harlan Clift. Set for 29 home runs. Against Johnny Bench. Johnny Bench home runs. Wow, Ripper Collins got the power. Ripper Collins has the power. This looks like a good lineup. Are we okay with that? Yeah, alright, we're quite happy with that. Beatles is not here, so just checking Doyle over Robinson at second. Who's the better second baseman? I'm happy to go with what we've got. That's a powerful lineup the Beatles has got here. Go back to... it says it's over the roster limit. I don't understand that. And this is... the team for Big Clue. Looks like the team he does push out there. I remember him saying Freehand and... Let's have a look. Yep, Freearm over Crandall. He's got his lineup set up properly. No saved lineups I can see. No, that's okay. Nothing against lefties, nothing against right. That's fine. So we go to it. So let's get going. Welcome into the Beatles, if you do catch this. I've done my best, son. Here we go. When I go with it, both teams must have a starting pitcher. Is there no D? There's a DH. Right, got it. That makes sense. Ross Ford. And then view opponent. Oh my God. And then we're going to go with Claude Osteen, who's in the lineup. That's fine. So here we go. Sportsman's Park. 68 degrees. Welcome everyone to Sportsman's Park 3 for today's game between Cleveland and Mudville. Russ Ford will start for Cleveland today, making his first start of the year, and he'll be opposed by Claude Osteen, famous Dodger, Brooklyn Dodger from Mudville. He's also making his first start. It's 68 degrees. It's April 7th. The winds are calm. And we're in 1946 Sportsman's Park. Hopefully, Wells, you can hear my voice. Here we go. Play ball.
Play ball.
So upstairs, Nap Lajoie. Press CPU. Facing the lefty, Osteen. And I'll just change the preferences. There you go. So Lajoie steps in. Osteen looking in. Bench will put the sign down. 68 degrees here at Sportsman Park 3. Lajoie for the 1-1. Deep fly ball towards left center field. Vader Pinson going to the right and to the track and makes the grab. A Gold Glover is Vader Pinson. Let's look at the defense for the team in the... It's hard to say who's who, actually, color-wise. But Cleveland are the ones in at-bat, and the Nines, the Mudville Nines, are in the field. So Johnny Bench is on the bench. is a catcher. Rip Collins at first, Larry Dole at second. Honus Wagner, coveted by Beatles eternally, is at short. He's a 7. The great Harlan Cliff, the band I'd never heard of, is at third. He's got a 9 range, and I've seen him hit some. So, out of left field is Barnard, a bit weak in terms of range and arm. In center field is the Cincinnati Red, Vader Pinson, 10 and an 8. Somebody could say he should have been in the Hall of Fame, or he has a borderline case for the Hall of Fame. And in right field is a guy that's on course for the Hall of Fame, modern day Mookie Betts. Here we go. Leading off, or second man up to the plate, is Pete Reiser, one of the Brooklyn Dodgers. Man famous for crashing into walls. That shortened his career. So Mudfield on the mound. Austin on the mound for Mudfield. 0-2 to count. Reiser strikes it. Well hit towards right center field. This could go off with the wall. Betts has it. Throws it to Doyle, and Pete Reiser is in at second base. So 1 out. And Cleveland start off with a double here. So the Mudfield Nines are on 1. Cleveland 1-0. One of the favorites for the tournament today. Or for the league. So Austin, the former Brooklyn Dodger, looks in at Barry Bonds, traded in the offseason from Manchester to Cleveland. Bonds steps in, man on second, 1-2, and Barry Bonds strikes out and comes up empty. That brings up Tris Speaker, betting DH today. Austin looks in. 2 out. Runner on second. Austin with a 3-1. Speaker swings, but it's popped up. Johnny turns round to catch it, but it's out of play. Claude Austin. Nice picture of the top left-hand corner. Right-hand corner. Although if that's Claude Austin, I'm a Dutchman. Let's have a look at that picture. That looks quite modern to me. Steve, check that one out. Okay. So there we go. Tris Speaker up at the plate. The lefty sets. 3-2. And he paints the corner. So second striker for Austin. No runs, 1 hit, no errors after 1.5 innings. Cleveland nothing. Mudville coming up to bat. Leading off with the excellent Vader Pinson. On the mound, Rusford. And Pinson bloops this to left and gets on board. So Vader Pinson, a threat to steal, is on first. That brings out Mookie Betts for Mudville. I think Beatles has played down his team quite a bit. There's some good players here. I wouldn't mind having a couple of these guys. Here's Mookie Betts. Rusford looks in. Runner on first. Ford checks first. First pitch to Betts. And Pinson's off running. Freehand didn't get it out of his glove quick enough. And Vader Pinson in there with a steal. That's his first steal. So Vader Pinson at second here. As the Mudfield Nines start cranking up some offense. Mookie steps out of the box and back in again. Russ Ford looks. Man on second. Ford with the 0-2. And a fastball struck him out. Here's Honus Wagner, known as the greatest shortstop of all time, up at the plate. So, just to make sure I am live, I am indeed. Here he comes. Honus now looking to get something going here for Mudville. 1 out, bottom of the first inning. Runner on second, 2-1 to count. Here's the offering from Ford, and a rifle shot down the right field line, and it goes foul. Babe Herman just watched it go into the right field stance. Jogs back to his position. Wagner sticks out of the box, steps back in. Ford, ready, toes the rubber, 2-2 count. Kicks and delivers. Wagner a base hit between third and short. That one got past Monty Irvin at short. And Monty Irvin is the Negro League Monty Irvin, not the Giant. So here we go. Ripper Collins up at the plate. Have a here. Here we go. Ripper Collins up. Now we don't hear that music that we often hear. Ford looks in. Ripper steps in. One out. Mudfield with Pinson on third. Runs on first and second. Wagner goes. He's got a good jump. Free and guns to second. And Wagner is safe at second. So runners at second and third. Mudfield threatening. The Mudfield Nines are threatening. There's Ripper Collins. Got some big power. In the season he was pulled for, hit 35 home runs, 128 RBIs. Batted .333. Ripper steps in. 3-1 from Ford. Almost in the dirt. Freehand does well to stop it. Freehand with that 10 range. So bases are loaded here at the bottom of the first inning. Russ Ford having a rough start. Hasn't given up anything yet. Let's have a look at Russ Ford. Okay. Not to be confused with Whitey Ford. Here's Johnny Bench at the plate. Fifth spot for Bench. Bases loaded. 0-2 count. And struck him out. Johnny Bench strikes out there. He got caught guessing wrong. And Ford rings him up. That brings up Harlan Clift. A man I'd put some money on to do well in this league. Here's Clift. Bases loaded. 0-2 from Ford. Swung at a bad pitch. So Russ Ford gets out of a jam here. And that's the end of the inning. No runs, 2 hits, no errors after 1 complete. Cleveland nothing, Mudfield nothing. That brings up Babe Herman, who in all the sims we did in preseason seems to do very well. So Babe Herman, 35 home runs, 133 RBIs, a .393 hitter. Here's Claude Osteen, 1-1 to count, and Herman hits a rope to left center field, and that's going to be a double if he runs quick enough, and he does. So Babe Herman in at second base. So stand up double for Babe. Brings up Dolph Camilli. Irvin is on deck, runner on second. Osteen with a 1-1 and a line drive to right, and he will get to first. So single for Camilli. Herman will trot down to third. So Claude Osteen now got 2 men on, went in the corner, and Monty Irvin, the Negro League Monty Irvin, comes up. Bando is on deck, runs on first and third. 1-2 from Osteen. Fly ball to right center field. And Pinson has it covered, but Herman will tag and score. So 1-0 here for Cleveland. Now, I'm sure they changed the names around, but I could be wrong. My game doesn't update with the names, but it does update with everything else. So something to look at, Steve. I want to save this one. Here's Sal Bando. Because I updated the game. That's what you wanted me to do, update the games, and that's what I've done. The schedule's correct. Here we go. Runner on first. Osteen is ready. 3-1 pitch, high and in. And Bando will trot down to first. So Cleveland moving along quite nicely. Big Clue will be very happy with that. And that brings up Bill Freehand. Good defensive catcher. Runners on men on first and second, 1-2 to count. Freehand swing, shallow fly ball to right center. Mookie Betts has it, and the runners will go back. So Claude Osteen, a crafty pitcher here, trying to get out of the inning. Here's Nap Lajoie. Nap Lajoie is 0-1 today, one of the stars of the Ned McGreevy League and an early 19th century star. This man can tear it up. Here's Osteen looking in. Runners at first and second. 0-2 to pitch. Hits a deep fly ball to center field. Pinson's racing back, but Barnard waves him off. And that's at the end of the inning. So Osteen also gets out of the jam. So that's after 1.5. Cleveland 1, Mudfield nothing. Here come the Mudfield Nines. With Clive Bernhardt now, off to a good start. 2-0 from Russ Ford. Barnard pops it up to second. Lajoie clears the way. Waves off Herman, and that's 1 away. So some decent defense here for Cleveland with Reza in center field, Lajoie at short and Irvin at short, and Freehan behind the plate. There's Russ Ford. Going into his windup is Larry Doyle. 2-1 the count. Doyle swings. Very deep fly ball to right field. Herman doesn't even move. Has it. Makes the catch. Just 2 away. So welcome in if you're just joining. Beatles Eternallys. Mudville Nines against Big Clues Cleveland. Robertson now batting. Ford with a 1-2. Down the third base line by Jackie. But it's foul. Jackie steps back in. The count 1-2. 1-2 to count. Shallow fly ball to right center field. Herman comes forward and has it to retire the side. So after 2, tight ball game. Cleveland 1, Mudville nothing. Leading off for Cleveland is Pete Risa. Risa will lead off. Doubled in the first. Osteen with a 1-1. Well hit fly ball to right center field. This could go. This might be. It's off the fence. Mookie will have it, and Reza will get. Reza or Reza? Reza will get into second. So I think this is the recent one because I just took it off Steve, and I noticed the names weren't the same because you've changed your name around. But this is the one I downloaded today. It did update the game from the match we saw earlier. I won't give the result away, but it did have it. So I know it's the right one, but the names didn't carry through. What I'll do though, Clue, I'll still play the game anyway, because if it's an error in the file, Steve can have a look at it. But I definitely got the result of today's game earlier on today between, I think it's Aaron's team and someone else. I don't want to show it on screen because it gives the score away. But yeah, I did immediately notice Cleveland, the name. I'm sure you swapped names. Am I right? It is weird. Yeah, action can be really strange. What we'll do is still broadcast it, still carry on. And the result may not stand, depending on what Steve comes up with. So here we go. Here's Barry Bonds, 0 for 1. Bonds digs in against Osteen. The shift is on for Bonds. Runner on second. 1-0 to count. Change. Low and inside. The pitch nailed him in the leg. He tried to get out of there. Here's Tris Bingo for 1. Runners on first and second. 2-0 to count. Osteen kicks and throws. Speaker hits a deep fly ball down the left field line. Barnard gets across. And he puts it away for the out. Excuse me. No, I won't stop it. I'll carry on. Yeah, the piece, it's action does have some quirks. I noticed that your team did have the inactive correct. Excuse me, I did have it correct. However, I noticed Mike's doesn't pull through to my one for some strange reason. I downloaded Wells' one, and Wells' one is in here, and also my one is in here. I didn't see Beatles, so there's some inconsistency there somewhere. But I did do exactly what Steve said. Just download the game files. It makes sense because I don't have to change the photos. I don't have to change anything really. It sticks. It's just this. I'm sure your name is no longer Cleveland. Anywho, here's Babe Herman, the hitting machine. Up. Runners on first and second. A long fly ball to left center field. Vader Pinson's going back, has the measure of it, and that's 2 away. That one goes down to Clift. So now we have Dolph Camilli at the plate. Camilli 1 for 1 so far, hitting from the left-hand side today. Lefty versus lefty. Runs on first and second. Osteen with a 3-0, and he lost him. So Osteen, who had a jam in the second inning for the Mudville Nines, has now just given up a walk again. That's his second walk. Is he crafty enough to get through this one? Here's Monty Irvin at the plate. Bases loaded. 1-2 to count. Irvin cuts it. Rip between third and short, and here comes Reiser home and Bonds. So Cleveland now open up a lead. It's 3-0 Cleveland. Hello, Cleveland. Yeah, it's the AI is strange. Thanks a lot, Big Clue and Wells. It is strange. That's one thing I did pick up. Here we go. Sal Bando at the plate. He walked to the second. Freehan is on deck if he reaches base. Runners at first and second. Gomer is set and Bando cuts it. Well hit fly ball down the right field line, but Mookie has it. And the runners are going to have to forget about it. No! Off the wall. He looked like he had it. Time chalkboard. So another run scores. Monty Irvin comes home there. A bit of sunlight there stopped me from seeing Mookie Betts. He was against the wall. So the Cleveland now stretch their lead to 5-0, just like that. Now then, does Clifford Steen stay in the game? Is it too early? Hey, Chris, how you doing? Role reversal for once. Here I am broadcasting. It's normally me tuning into you at this time of day. Here we go. Chris Slovic is in the house, along with Big Clue and World's Worst Gamer. Welcome, Chris. A long-time supporter of yourself. I saw the funniest thing the other day with the Willie Mays trade in the middle of your tournament. Just thought it was really funny. I know you've corrected it. Here we go. We've got Mudfield Nines up against Cleveland. And the Mudfield Nines are Beatles Eternities team. And this version of Cleveland, at least I know it as, is Big Clues. Here we go. Freehan steps in, man on second. The 2-0. Freehan hits a lazy fly ball to right center field. And Pinson has it. Makes the crowd to retire the side. So Cleveland 5, Mudfield nothing after 2.5 innings. So here's Russ Ford. He's pitched very well so far today. I don't know, Clue, if you had him at the number 2 spot, but that's what it showed. Here we go. Vader Pinson 1 for 1. 2-2 count on the outside corner, struck him out. I kind of like Russ Ford. Never heard of him before. Looking good. Here comes Mookie Betts, 0 for 1. Today, he comes up against Ford. Struck out in the first. Wagner is on deck. 1-1 count. High fly ball from Betts. And Barry Bonds hardly has to move. And that's an aging Bonds out there in left field. Still has lots of power and good range. He makes the grab for the out. 2 out here in the third. Ford looks in. Wagner waits. And he lines a single between third and short. So Honus Wagner gets on first base. Beatles will be pleased. Can Beatles Eternally team come back? They have the power. Here's Rip Collins at the plate. 2 out here. Bottom of the third. Runner on first. Ford sets with the 3-1 below the knees, and he walked him. So the dangerous Johnny Bench comes up. Johnny Bench hit 283. 28 home runs, 110 RBIs. Need a big hit from Johnny today. But Russ Ford is a crafty pitcher. Runners on first and second. 2-1 pitch. And it's laced. Monty jumps up in the air, makes the catch. So after 3 complete, Cleveland 5, Mudfield nothing. We go to the top of the 4th inning. Nap Lajoie is on the mound. And he drills in the mound at the plate. He drills a single double to left field. He dives in there, so Nap Lajoie leads off for Cleveland with a double. Here's Reeser, 2 for 2, the Brooklyn Dodger. Famed for crashing into walls. 2 for 2 today. He doubled and scored last time. Runner on second. Osteen with a 2-1. A deep fly ball towards center field. And Pinson has it. Lajoie will tag up and run down to third. He slides. And it's an error. And Lajoie will come home. The ball got away from Clift. An awful throw from Vader Pinson there. So this is not looking good for the Mudfield Nines. So we're saying play the game through. So World's Worst Gamer says, Big Clue, I like winning. LOL. I don't mind helping others though when I can, even if it makes it harder for me to win. I do want the league to be the best it can be. Yep, I agree with you, Wells. That's how it was with the Dead McGreevy. We all helped each other. I mean, poor Beatles, how he did this on his own, I'll never know. But it was fun. It was a long journey. It was absolutely fun. And here's Barry Bonds, 0 for 1. Well hit by a pitch and scored in the third. And a deep fly ball to right. Is this Bonds time? Betts is looking. It is out of here. Bye-bye, baby. Baby, goodbye. If you know your 1970s pop songs, you'll know what I'm singing. Maybe not in tune. Barry Bonds hits a 2-run home run, and it's now 7-0. Cleveland put on a shellacking, and I think Austin is done. Because I'd pull him at this point. What's the point of keeping him on the mound? So Claude Austin, anyone have any suggestions, please? Yeah, I'm with you, Big Clue. League first. And we'll have some kinks, I think we all said that. If we just see one today with this lineup. And that's definitely choosing the right file. So, Dizzy Trout, Deacon Phillips, Johnny Sane. Who should we put in? No left-handers on the bullpen here for he's got Kid Nichols, but we don't want Kid Nichols in there at all. Dizzy Trout's been used. Where's his pitchers? We're going to go with, well, I don't want to mess up his starters. Let's see who he does have starting. Wow, Beatles only has this amount of players? Any suggestions without messing up his rotation? Yeah, he walks too much. That's right, Big Clue. Bay City Rollers. I once met the lead singer. I think he's gone now. Name was Les. Yeah, I was working at McDonald's at the time. I was a young kid and he walked in. And everyone just started singing, bye, bye, baby. Yeah, a cheesy song. Right, anybody's come in here? Bringing his worst. Wow. They're all pretty bad, to be honest with you. I should have loved Beatles. I don't know who to bring in. Bring in his worst or make it competitive. The worst one here is probably Roy Oswalt. So here comes Oswalt out now, normally a starter. He comes onto the mound. We've seen enough of Osteen. I was ashamed. I had high hopes for Claude Osteen. But Cleveland are powerful. The only team that could take down his team, Cleveland's team, I think, is possibly going to be Todd's team or that four-headed monster rotation of Steve's. Possibly Ken Castro. Worlds, I think you give him a good game. That's 5 out of 12 teams so far. Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's a good league. Here we go. And I can't see why Beatles' team isn't that good either because he's got some power in the team. Anyway, here comes Chris Speaker, 0 for 2. One man out here. Roy Oswalt on the mound. And it's popped to the catcher. And Johnny will take it. That's 2 away. That brings up the brilliant Babe Herman. This guy's going to be a star in this league. Camille's on deck if he gets a 1-0 count, and Herman hits a deep fly ball to right center field. Pinson's going back, and so is Betts off the wall. Herman will race to second. He could go to third. No, he'll stay there. So Babe Herman with a stand-up double. Wow, he looks good. So Roy Oswalt trying to close it down here in the fourth. Here's Dove Camille, 1 for 1, batting from the left-hand side. 2-1 to count. Camille swings on the fastball, frozen rope to right field. Betts has it, and another run comes home. Babe Herman, and now it's looking like a whitewash, a shellacking, a beatdown, a beating, a thrashing. Let's see if Beatles team can come back. Here's Monty Irvin. Irvin knocked 2 runs, runner on first, 0-1 to count. Irvin swings and he hits a blooper to center field. Base hit. This is not looking good. In fact, Camille takes advantage of Pinson just taking his time. And Camille's at third. Still 2 out here. And that brings up Sal Bando, the great third baseman from the Oakland A's. 3-2 to count. Oswald goes his wind up. And he struck him out. So finally the inning is over. Not before the damage is done. 3 runs, 5 hits, 1 error after 3.5 innings. Cleveland 8, Mudville none. That starts off, Harlan Cliff will start off the inning, 2-2 to count. Ground ball between first and second, and Harlan Cliff, a man I would love to have had in my team, gets on first. Here's Clyde Barnhart now. Left fielder. Ford has 2-2 to count on him. Ground ball between third and short, and the fastball is hit into left field. Bonds with a poor play, and they will advance one more base. So Barry Bonds there with a poor play there. The other night we saw him make a poor play. He caught a ball high into left field, caught it with his bare hand. The ball went red, it went white, it went red, it went white, but he caught it to end the game, actually. So Big Clue says here, in my opinion, it isn't that we have any bad teams, correct, but more a question of how many holes there are in any given roster. I agree. Weak defense here, shallow bullpen there, no running game over there. That sounds like Steve's team. Big Clue says the most well-rounded teams, those with the deeper benches, will be able to survive more through 162 games, just like in the real season. That's correct. So yeah, I agree with that. So here we go again. Here's a Larry Doe at the plate. Dell steps in against Ford. 1-2 to pitch. Doe cuts it. It's nailed to right field, and Babe Herman has it. So here is that's a base hit for Doyle. Is there a little rally going on for the Montfield Nines? Here's Jackie Robinson. Jackie hasn't had a hit so far. Man on first and third. Nobody out. Through 2 to count. Ground ball towards short. Irvin has it. They're going to get 2. Lajoie. Over to Camilli. Double play. But Barnard will score. So the Mudville Nines get on the board. That brings up Vader Pence, who's had quite an adventurous game so far today. After a slow start so far, Vader. 1-2 to count, and he hits it back to the pitcher. Russ Ford has it, throws out to Camilli, and that is the end of the inning. So 2 runs, 3 hits, 1 error. 4 are in the books. Cleveland 8, Mudville 2. So Mudville did get 2 runs. It's not bad. Come back. So Roy Oswalt on the mound here in relief. Claude Osteen was knocked out pretty early. Hales Freeman, 0 for 2, leading off for Cleveland. Deep fly ball down the left field line. He takes that pitch, and Barnard is looking. Oh, it goes out foul. Wow, I thought it was going to be a home run. So Oswald takes a puff of the cheeks, blows on his hands. Freehand steps back in. Bench puts aside now, 1-2 to count. Freehand rips it towards right center field, but Vader Pinson has it covered. He puts it away to retire Freehand. Here's Nap Lajoie, 1 for 3 today, batting .250 so far. Lajoie doubled and scored in his last trip, 0-1 to count. And a deep fly ball to left field from Lajoie. Barnard has it, measured, and that's another out. So 2 out. Bringing up Pete Risa. Risa or Risa? I'm going to say the way I see it, Risa. So here's Oswald now going into his windup. 3-2 pitch. Fastball low and inside. And he walks him. So Roy Oswald here walking Pete Risa. And that brings up Barry Bonds. Bonds here had a home run in the last at-bat. He struck out in the first and was hit by a pitch in the third. Hit a home run in the fourth. Adventurous game. 3-1 to Bonds. Howie walks him. So Risa goes to second. Bonds up to first. At the top of the 5th inning here. Cleveland got something going, but they got only 1 more out to be out of this inning. Trish Speaker 0 for 3 today. Rouse on first and second. Oswald toes him rubber. 0-2 pitch. Speaker swings. A deep fly ball to right center field. Vader Pinson can't get it. Betts and Pinson both converged on it. They've had a few off the wall today. Bonds will round third, and Bonds will score 10-2. Wow. Camilli is on deck. Babe Herman comes up to the plate. So this is definitely a shellacking here. Let's see what everyone's saying. Hey, Steve, we've got a question. Sorry, I had to jump out of your broadcast, and I jumped in. I was just coming from off the road, and I saw your broadcast, and I stayed, and then I got a phone call. I had to come back off again. Bring in Erskine. Says Risa, right? Got it. So, yeah, so Steve, we had a bit of an issue because I did download the game. It looks fine, no problem. Pictures are there, everything's good. But Clue's lineup doesn't seem to carry quite over. I still think the inactive stuff is not quite right. I don't want to show it because obviously I don't want to reveal the score from that wonderful game earlier on today. That's all the only hint. I'm not a spoiler. Hint, hint, hint. So we can look at that later if you want. See what's not carrying over. But the game did carry over, so I did it correctly like I did yesterday. It all came through sweetly, apart from the lineups. It's not leaving all the lineups. But we know it's a little kinky, this game. Kinky? It's got kicks. Here we go. Here we go. Babe Herman up at the plate, the superstar, 2 for 3 today. And here's Roy Oswald, who goes up and running into his wind-up, 1-0 pitch. Herman hits a line drive down. This guy doesn't miss. Line drive down the third baseline. Fair ball. At least a double. It's in the corner. Tris Speaker will come home now. And the beatdown continues. Babe Herman, 3 doubles today. Bring in Erskine, they're saying. Bring in Oisk. I'll bring him in after this inning because it's over. Might as well make Oswald chew up some innings. Let Beatles save some of his stamina for his pitches a little bit. What do you think? Wells, you bring in Oisk? Bring in Oisk. There's Camille, 2 for 2 today. Camille knocked in a run with a single in the fourth. Runner on second. Oswald gets a side from bench. Oswald with a 2-2. Camille swings a high fly to right center field. Vader Penson, been very busy today, has it. And that's the end of the innings. 3 runs, 2 hits, no errors. After 4.5 innings, Cleveland 11, Mudville 2. The Mudville crowd not very happy. They're already on an 0-1 start. They're at Sportsman's Park. The left-handers get a 5% bump. The right-handers get a -1. So, interesting. Here's Russ Ford, has looked very good on the mound today. Bookie Betts will lead off. This was lifted. The 0-2 pitch lifted into left field. But a bit of a moonshot because it came straight back down to Barry Bonds. 1 away. Bookie trusts back down to the dugout, muttering under his breath. He thought that was gone. So did I. Here we go. So now we have Russ Ford again. He's looking very good on the mound. And Russ Ford, I did not know who Russ Ford was. One of the things I love about action is I can just quickly go here. I'm going to look at the wiki one, to be honest. It says Russ Ford, the first player born in Western Canadian province of Manitoba. There you go, Wells. To reach the major leagues. Russ Ford burst into the spotlight in 1910. Wow. He's a Canadian. I'm assuming. So Russ Ford, looking good, looking good. Here's Honus Wagner, the shining light of Beatles Eternalist team. 2 for 2 today for Honus. Ford stares in, 3-2 count. Fastball, Wagner swings, hard ground ball. It's a base hit and a double because Herman is messing around and actually Wagner's going for 3. The throw comes in and he is safe. So Honus Wagner trying to get something going, trying to rally the troops. They're 11-2 down. Here we go. Ripper Collins coming up. Man on third. On 2 count, Ripper hits a liner to right center field. Reeser looking, and that one is gone. A 2-run homer for Ripper Collins. Bye-bye, baby, baby, goodbye, bye-bye. That's enough. Here we go. Here we go. Johnny Bench up now. So this is a rally now. Is it a rally? Hands up who thinks Beatles can come back to get this one going. I don't know. Steve Tate says, Manitoba is also known as the West Virginia of Canada. Russ Ford is in the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. Thank you, Wells. Did not know that. In this league, if a guy can, Big Clue says, if a guy can get through 8 innings pitched, what's that? Walk for ERA with earned runs of with 4 runs, earned runs of few is doing well. That's correct. Steve says, I plan to go live a bit later today and explain the ballpark factors versus physical dimension in action and clear that confusion. Well, to be honest, I understood it straight away, to be fair. It's baked in, as you correctly said, as I believe. But others might have more confusion, so what am I saying? Yeah, some of the settings, just for that carryover, it's carrying over the scores, the rosters, just the inactives, and it's not saving the lineups. But that's not new, because last year, in an Ed McGreevy league, Beatles did a really good job of saving lineups. But every now and again, my lineup tend to be more or less the same. Obviously, it's resting people. But there was a time, even in the World Series, it had to change it because it just didn't carry over what was in place for 4 months. Sometimes it's like that. I don't understand why. If Dave Cook ever looks at this, Dave, there's some work to do. Well, you're a brilliant game, I might add. So Russ Ford looking in, a baseball man in the Hall of Fame from Manitoba. Bench 0 for 2, Clift on deck, 2-2 count. Here's delivery, and Johnny took a strike. Ford rings him up. That's his 5th strikeout today. I do like how Russ Ford is pitching. Here's Harlan Clift, 1 for 2 today, 2 men out. They trail 11-4, the Mudville Nines, and he's a shallow fly ball to right center field. Reeser is going to pick it up. And that's the end of the inning. 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors after 5 innings. Cleveland 11, Mudville 4. So the Mudville Nines looking to make a comeback here. Now then, do we take Oswald out and bring in Oiskeen? Big Clue says, Steve, do we really need to explain physical dimensions to Robbie and Easy? It depends on what you're talking about. World's worst gamer. Can Beatles team come back? Well, it is early, and Russ Ford clearly is not on his A game. Yeah, well, you're right. You know what? I think this can happen. It's still early. Here's Monty Irvin now, 2 for 2. Do we take out Oswald? I don't think so. I mean, Roy Oswald has a 75 pitch count. Actually, it might be time to take him out. Beatles' bullpen is not the worst, but it's equally not the best. And actually, Erskine is the one to come in. So another Brooklyn Dodger takes to the field. Carl Erskine, one of the Brooklyn Dodgers from the late 40s and early to mid 50s. One of the boys of summer, Oisk. Here's, I don't know, I haven't got a Brooklyn accent, but I know they call him Oisk. Oisk. So here's Monty Irvin now, 2 for 2. Negro League Monty Irvin. Nobody out. 2-0 to count. And Irvin hits a ground ball back to Erskine. And that's 1 out. So Erskine just threw it back over to Rip Collins. So they need a bit of defense here. Here's Sal Bando, captain of the Oakland A's in the 1970s. And Bando hits a deep fly ball to right for Cleveland, but Mookie pucks under it. And that's the end of Bando. But somebody's injured. Now, who was injured? I can't see anyone injured on the screen. Bando was injured. Oh, my goodness. There you go. Sorry, Clue, you lost Sal Bando. We'll replace him afterwards. So Sal Bando turned an ankle when he was running up the baseline, and he looks like he's going to be out. That brings up Bill Freehan here. Erskine trying to control the bleeding. 1-1 to count. And Freehan hits a deep fly ball down the right field line. Mookie going for it and dives and makes the catch. It says here, looking down at the bench, that Sal Bando has actually recovered. Interesting. That brings up Barnett. So, Oswald has been rubbish, yes, I'd have to agree. Big Clue says, I'll have to send Beatles an Applebee's gift card or something. It's making my team look like the Tampa Bay Rays at the start of the season. Yeah, not looking good. Cleveland looking to go 2-0 on the season, and the Beatles looking not to go to 0-2. Here's Clyde Barnhart. Doyle is on deck. Forward with the 0-1. There's a fastball, ground ball between third and short. Monty Irvin with a diving play, gets on his knees, throws it to first. Got him! So Monty Irvin flashing the glove. My neighbors want to think I've gone mad. I'm sure the little girl who plays outside is like, what has happened to him? Anyway, here comes Larry Doyle now. 1 out here. In the bottom of the 6th inning, 3-1 to count. Shallow fly ball. And Reeser comes in for it. I'll keep saying his name like that now. That's 2 away. Clue, do you need to take out Ford? Are you happy with him? Here's Jackie Robinson. First modern-day Negro Leaguer to make the major leagues in 1947. Followed by... Who followed him in the American League? Not Luke Easter. Larry Doby. There you go. Robinson steps in against Ford. 2-2 to count. Dribbler to Bando at third. And Bando throws across the diamond to Dolph Camilli. And that's 1 away. Sometimes when I look at this game, you imagine Field of Dreams. And, you summon all these players to pitch. And I was thinking about writing a short story where they're actually, the great book, The Universal Baseball Association by Henry J. Waugh, written by Robert Coover. What an absolutely amazing book that was. And that's all about fantasy baseball, and that was written in 1969. I think 69 or 68. What an amazing, amazing book. And when I read that book, which was about 10 years ago now, I just remember thinking, I'm not the only one, because the guy who wrote it, he must be like this too. And it's only when I got to see Al, Red Sox fan, broadcast on King Ichibu, you start to think, hold on a minute, I'm not alone, far from alone. And on the Beatles Eternity channel, a bandwagon of vagabonds that we all are over there, or infidels plus Big Clue, as he likes to call, you really realize this hobby is really deep. See, in the UK, we don't have this. We don't have baseball. We have soccer, we're very tribal about, and we used to play a game called Subutio, way back in the 80s and 70s in particular as a boy. And, they had these little plastic bases. You can Google it if you don't know it. And you used to put a little green mat on your mother's dining table. That would be the pitch. These plastic goals with nets. And you flick to kick this big ball. The ball was bigger than the men. But it was very, very addictive. Most kids had it. That's kind of where I saw my first baseball advert. The old Marvel comics used to get, what were they called? The Avengers, and used to get, who's the other guys? The X-Men, that's it. And these comics were huge, really big in size. We didn't have that in the UK at the time. But at the back of the page, there'd always be this little comic strip. And one I remember was about this guy, a skinny guy, and his girl was taken away by this bully. And then he would chew some bubble gum, and suddenly he got all muscles. I don't think that's kind of it was. That was the first American advert I saw. But just above it, there was an advert for Strat. I didn't know it was Strat at the time. But it was an advert for Stratomatic. I know that's not a name we mention on this channel too often. I've never played Strat. I bought the book, one of the books that came out about Strat. I've never bought the book though. It just looked interesting, but to stay in line with with the culture of our channel, Beatles Eternity channel, I should say, I don't play Strat for that reason. But it looks like a good game, and I've read the book, the autobiography of Hal Richman, and it's really a fun read. It talks about drafting and all that kind of stuff. Really good stuff. Anyway, here's Nat Lajoie at the plate. Oh, an old count. Oh, 1 to count. Erskine pitches a long fly ball down the right field line from Lajoie, and Mookie Betts has it. Makes the grab, and Lajoie is retired. That brings up Pete Reeser. Pete Reeser at the plate. Bonds is on deck circle. Here's the 1-2 from Erskine. Easy ground to short. Wagner makes the error. Honus Wagner, the superstar, makes an error. This is not going well for Beatles today. I'm sorry, Beatles. But Risa is on first. Bonds comes up to the plate. He's 1 for 2 today. Erskine trying to stem the bleeding. First pitch from Erskine, ball outside, and Bench with a snap throw to first. Risa got back in safely. Another chat going on in the chat. Okay, so now Steve Tate says it was a great book, Big Clue. Absolutely. Absolutely. And Mookie does seem to get. Mookie and Vader Pinson have been running around in center field all afternoon. Steve Tate says, I finally got Big Clue's manager file to represent what he wants, or so I think. Posting his new manager file in Discord for myself, Envy, and Beatles to import before playing further games. Yeah, that's true. Thanks, Steve. Big Clue says, thanks, Steve. Fingers crossed the air doesn't change it again. Well, funny enough, you're clobbering Beatles. It's not, I would be curious, how different would it have been, just out of interest? I'm thinking, look at your team thinking, they're loaded anyway. Whichever bloody order it goes in, it's still loaded. But I'm curious, because, and what about the name? Did you not change your name from Cleveland to something else? Because he's picking up Cleveland. Here we go, Barry Bonds at the plate, as we still work at the kinky bits of this game, of the league file. 1-0 count, and Bonds drives it deep down the right field line. See you later. Bonds has hit a tater. Wow. Can you come back to Manchester, please, Barry? Wow. A 3-run home run number 3 for Barry Bonds. 379 feet. Wow. I don't regret losing him because I got DeGrom, and it was a fair trade. Wow. So Barry Bonds, can we show that again? Beatles, cover your eyes. Replay. It doesn't. I'm sure there's a way you could actually watch the replay. I don't want to rub it into Beatles at all, so I won't do that. Replay. Anyway, so that was a big home run for Barry Bonds. He's third on the season. It's only the second game. So Carl Erskine, Oysk, it's now 13-4. Keep him in because no one else. This is like an episode from Major League, the film. Speaker comes in, high and inside, and Oyskine loses him, and Speaker goes to first base. Tris Speaker was very disappointing in the Ned McGreevy League, actually. It didn't do much. I was very, very underwhelmed. Here we go, Babe Herman in at the plate. 3 for 4 today for the Babe. Cleveland looking to pour it on him. Runner on first. Erskine looking for the high side from the side from bench. 2-2. Fly ball to right field, and Mookie and Pinson, Mookie Benson, Vader Pinson, all they've done is look up or run. It's been terrible today. 13-4. Oyski will hold the ball, and that's Dolph Camilli coming to the plate. 2 for 3. Runner on first. 1-1 to count. Camilli swings. Fly ball towards right field. Mookie doesn't want to run this time, and he has it. So 2 runs, 1 hit, 1 error. After 6.5, Cleveland 13, Mudville 9-4. Click R to watch through. Thank you, Wells. Pro tip from Steve Tate. Bang, 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 bang. Yeah, Steve, I took mine off deliberately. Could you check Mike's one as well? Utah Mike's one. Manager profile. It doesn't seem to come through. Same with Beatles. I can see some, but not all. And then, and did Clue not change the name from Cleveland? I could be wrong. I'm sure he did. Anywho, here's Vader Pinson here. Russ Ford still on the mound. 2-2 to count. Here's the windup and the pitch. Vader swings, base hit to right. So Vader Pinson here on to first base. The rally cry goes up for the Mudfield Nines. Passionate crowd here. Here's Mookie Betts, 0 for 3 today. Man on first. Ford looks over at first. 1-2 count. Betts pops it up to third. Sal Bando waves off Irvin. And Bando makes the catch. So thank you everyone for coming in today. Someone post Mike Manager file in Discord for me. I can't find it. So if anyone's got Mike's file in Discord, I think he did it to you privately, Steve. So here we go. Look in your private one, you might see it. So here's Honus Wagner. 3 hits today. Honus the shining light for the Mudville Nines. 7-14 start. Wow. Honus Wagner steps in. Runner on first. Ford with the 1-0. Wagner swings line back up the middle. And Reeser has it. So now 2 runners on base. Wagner with his 4th hit of the day. So now beginning to see why Honus Wagner is so revered. And particularly by Beatles eternally. Here's Ripper Collins at the plate, lefty hitter. Ford still going. Freehand checks on him. 3-2 to count. Ford into his wind up. Slow wind up. 3-2 to count. High fly ball. Reeser goes back a couple of steps and takes it. 2 away. Pinson may tag up. No, he doesn't. Goes back to Lajoie in the infield. Here's Johnny Bench, been disappointed today, 0-3 today. Runners at first and second, 1-0 count. Johnny swings, hard grounded to third shot. Great diving play by Irvin again to Lajoie. Got it. That's the second great play by Monty Irvin. This is a young Monty Irvin. And that brings him right back up to the plate again. I'll keep Oysk in there because there's no one else. Welcome, whoever just joined there, welcome. This is a April 7th game, the second one of the day. And this is Beatles Eternal's Mudville Nines at home at Sportsman's Park, 1946 settings, up against Big Clues, Big Cleveland, who are putting on a hitting display. Well, not so much a hitting display, a power display. Oiskin got knocked out, not Oiskin, Claude Osteen got knocked out early. Irvin will bat this inning. 1 to count, and Irvin drives it deep to center field. Pinson and Betts start the Olympics all over again. They've been running around all day, and a great play there by Pinson. He catches it after a dive. Those two have been running around. Barnard's hardly had anything to do. That brings up Sal Bando to the plate. It's going looking rueful today, like, why did I get this assignment? 1 to count, up the middle by Bando. Doyle gets across, throws it to Ripper Collins in lots of time to first for the out. That's 2 away. Cleveland here, at the top of the 8th inning. Oiskin, who's coming in relief, is knocked around a bit. 2-1 from Oysk. And a fly ball to right center from freehand. Pinson has it, and that is it. So after 7.5, no runs, no hits, no errors from the Cleveland team, and they still lead 13-14. So go to the bottom of the 8th inning. I pause for chat, very busy today. I won't even repeat that big clue. So here we go. Harlan Clift, one of the finds of this league. I didn't know about Harlan Clift. Being a Brit, I didn't know him so much. Otherwise known as Darky. That's a very British saying, actually. Clift, here we go. So Harlan Darky Clift was a major league third baseman for the St. Louis Browns. Probably why I've not heard of him. He was the major league's first third baseman, an outstanding defensive player who possessed power and production. And he's been well represented here by Action PC. This is his 1937 card. He is 25 years old, 10 durability, power versus righties. Yeah, good player. He's looking good so far in all the sims I've seen. I wish I drafted him. So here we go. Russ Ford, who pitched massively today. He's on the mound still. 3-0 to count, lowered inside barely. Clue, do you want me to pull him? I know you're not managing. So Clift is, as Steve and Big Clue engaging some risque banter. Here we go. Barnard 1 for 3. Runner on first. Ford checks the runner at first. The righty sets aside and gets the sign from freehand. And Barnard has been quiet all day. Hits a deep fly ball. But Reeser gets it in center field. Puts it away for the out. So that's one away. Clift will trot back to first. The Mudville Nine is trying to get something going at the bottom of the 8th inning. Russ Ford still on the mound. First pitch to Doyle. And Doyle hits a deep fly ball to right field. This time it's Herman who goes back this time. Reeser was coming across. Herman waved him away. And that is the second out. Cleveland looking strongly for him. Now Russ Ford has got a red tag on him. He's tired now, Big Clue. He's tired. So I'll put the screen up for Big Clue. I know we're not managing technically. And I think that might be the way to go. I think I already know how Worlds does his. Oops, that's not the one we want, is it? Yes, it is. So it could be a pitching change here from Cleveland. Hello, Cleveland. Take out the starters. Here we go. Here you go. Here's you got in your bullpen. So no need to pull the starting pitcher unless he becomes tired. So here we go. He's tired. So you could put in Pedro Martinez. It doesn't. Do you have him in? Do you actually have him in the bullpen? Tex Houston, the old Boston Red Sox. Read about Tex Houston in that book 1949. Camilo Pascual is going to come in. Now why can't I see Camilo Pascual? Okay. Display starters. Am I going blind? Because you said Camilo Pascual. I can't see him. Is this game going to be forfeited? Oh, Houston. I was going to say, what are you drinking now? So Tex Houston, right? Okay, so Tex Houston is going to come in. Is this 1949? Tex Houston. I love Tex Houston. When I read about him in that book 1949, which was based on the 1949 season, I got to know who Tex Houston was and Mickey McDermott, great players in that season. So Tex Houston comes on, comes in, and this Tex Houston, just so you know, is the 1946 Tex Houston. He's 30 years old, a veteran. He's coming on in relief. For me, who doesn't know I do know a little bit about him, obviously. Tex Houston appeared in 39 Major League games during the 1946 season. In 1946, Tex Houston helped lead the Red Sox to the American League pennant by winning 20 games. I didn't even know they got in 1946. The 6'3", 119-pound hurler was an all-SWC pitcher in 1937. So, I've just learned something there that I didn't know. Boston won the American League pennant in 1946. I knew in 49 they were good. I didn't realize they had done it in 46. Here we go. Bit of a bogus one, though, isn't it? After the war, maybe. Anyway, here's Jackie Robinson, 0 for 3 today. Houston looking in. Computer. Human. That's fine. So Jackie Robinson at the plate. Runner on first. 0-2 to count. Curveball. High fly to center field. Left center field. Bonds casually walks towards it and makes the catch to retire the side. So the Mudville Nines really are struggling. Leave Erskine out there. Do we need to bring anyone else in? No, leave it as it is. Sorry, Beatles. Tried. As Nap Lajoie here, 1 for 5 today. Lajoie will lead off. On 1 count, ground ball between first and second. Erskine's taking some licks today. 13-4 to score, nobody out. Nap Lajoie on base. Here comes Pete Reeser from the left-hand side. He's 2 for 4 today. Bonds is on deck. 3-1 from Erskine. Lashed down the right field line, and that could be a double by Reeser. Lajoie could go all the way. Mookie's messing around with it in right field. Mookie throws it over to third, and Reeser is in with a triple. as the Beatles would call it. And another run scores. It's 14-4. Lajoie came home. That brings up Barry Bonds. This shellacking continues. It's actually hard to watch. Barry Bonds is 2 for 3 today. Carl Erskine having a chat with Johnny Bench and said, look, just keep it low. Bench out. Bond steps in. Runner on third. 3-1 the count. High and inside. Erskine loses it. Poor Carl Erskine. Yeah, hey Beatles, welcome. The maestro is in the house. So here we go. Trick Speaker is here, 1 for 4 at the plate, batting from the left-hand side. Carl Erskine in mop-up duty here. Beatles, it was Austin that was knocked out early. Speaker comes up against Erskine, runners on the corners, 1-1 the count, and Speaker hits a blooper to right center, gets in between Doyle and Mookie Betts. Bonds thought about third, and he's going for third, and he's tagged. Barry Bonds with a base run error there. That's the one bright spot today. He has been crushing the ball. So that's 1 out. Top of the 9th inning, Babe Herman, 3 for 5 today, hitting 556 so far. Erskine goes into his windup. Runner on first, long windup, 1-1 the count. Erskine kicks and throws. Herman hits a fly ball towards center. Vader Pence's covered some miles out there today, and he takes it. So the only person I've not really heard from on the Mudville Nines is Barnhart. He hasn't really done much fielding today. It's all been Pinson and Betts. We have seen a 4 for 4 day from Honus Wagner, though. I think I've done something wrong on my preferences here. Here's Doc Committee, 2 for 4, 0-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. So Erskine gets a rare strike. Carl Erskine today retires the side. 2 runs, 3 hits, and no errors. After 8.5 innings, Cleveland 15, Mudville 4. So here we go. Tex Houston on the mound to close out the ball game. Rally time now for the Beatles Eternities Mudvilles. They did show a little hint a few innings ago, and then it all blew up. Here's Vader Pinson, 2 for 4 today. He's got something started. Let's get something started. Pinson swings on a rifle shot to Monty Irvin, who puts it away. 1 away. Old Tex led Boston to the 1946 pennant. Here's Mookie Betts at the plate. Houston with the 0-2. Roll to Irvin at short. Irvin comes in, throws over to Camilli, and they're going to get Betts for the out. That brings up Honus Wagner. He is 4 for 4. Perfect day for Wagner. Just in time, because I believe Beatles may still be on, to see Honus. I'm just looking at the guys are sorting out everything. Yeah, and just to look back at some of the commentary here. Beatles says, thank you, Steve. Todd B wanted this in OTP. Yes, it would look great in OTP, and I thought it would be cool to create it there and make it available. Minus your photos to the OTP community. I think that's a great idea. It did flash past my mind. I just haven't got the time to do that sort of thing. Erskine is pitching well. Yeah. Yep, okay, let's go on. So here's Tex Houston now, 2 out, last man at the plate. Honus Wagner. Can Honus go 5 for 5? Here we go. Houston going into his windup, 4 for 4 today. 1-2 pitch, and would you believe it? 5 for 5 for Honus Wagner. Well, we have seen something special here, ladies and gentlemen. Honus Wagner, in a losing effort for the Mudville Nines, is a ray of sunshine with 5 for 5. That would record me not be beaten ever. In real life, who's got 5 for 5? I'm sure people have done that in real life. Here's Ripper Collins, 1 for 2 today. Wagner is a threat to steal. On 1 account, Ripper Collins swings a deep fly to right field. Herman has it, and that is the ball game. The ball game ends on that last thing. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. That's all for Sportsman's Park today. Cleveland 15, Mudville 4. Take a look at the... Oh, don't look at the scores. Don't look at the scores. Have a look at what's happened here. So, what an offensive onslaught by Cleveland. 17 hits. Having said that, the Mudville didn't do badly. They've got a good potent offense, actually. Especially with Otis Wagner. They had 11 hits. It's only 6 hits different. However, the power came from Barry Bonds. Bonds hit 2 towering home runs to right field. Left on base, 18 men left on base for Mudville, 19 for the Cleveland team. And actually, that's pretty even. Home runs, Ripper Collins had a home run for Mudville. What was interesting today was how many times Vader Pinson and Mookie Betts had to touch the ball, whereas Barnhart in left field did not. Is that because Cleveland are not pull hitters? I suspect no. Right hand have no right-handed pull hitters, because Barry Bonds certainly pulled the ball today. There's no question. Some of those went to this over the roof. Interesting to look at the stats. Reeser was 4 for 5. Barry Bonds was... Reeser was 3 for 5. Bonds was 2 for 3. Speaker 2 for 5. Herman is a machine, 3 for 6. But Russ Ford, I thought, pitched very well. 7 in his pitch, 10 hits given up. And Claude Osteen, Beatles, if you want to see what happened to him. I know we're looking at fun. He went 3 innings and gave up 8 hits. That's where the damage was done. Osteen, not... Well, Osteen was the worst, 1 for 3. We brought in Roy Oswalt to stem the bleeding. It just got worse. In 1 inning, he gave up 4 more earned runs. And Oysk was a little bit more, controlled. But this is probably the biggest offense in the league. So Cleveland now go to 2-0 and Mudville 0-2. What I don't want to do is shut down the screen because it will reveal the score of the previous game today. So anything miscellaneous here? Steve tends to look at this. The MVP of today's game was Barry Bonds. He battled hard. He did battle 5 for 5 though. How about that? Is that Mel Allen? No, even I've seen Mel Allen on TV. How about that? This week in baseball. I can't do the accent. Recap of today would have been, well, we all know what happened. Play-by-play, we don't need to see that. Miscellaneous. Bonds made an error. Pinson made an error. Wagner made an error. Salbando got a double. Trespica got a double. Risa had 2 doubles. Herman had, is that 4 doubles or 3? So, quite a lot going on there. Some great plays by Monty Irvin and 2 great plays, 2 diving stops at short. Vader Pinson made 2 in the center field. OFA, I'm not sure what that means. Does that mean outfield assist? I'd imagine it does. I've never heard of that stat before. Game-winning RBI, remember they used to measure that? Didn't mean anything in the end, did it? So there it is. That's the end of the ball game. Look at those pictures, Steve. They've come through quite nicely. And all I did with my pictures, which is slightly different to how you explained it to me, was I'm sure I learned the right way. I just took them out of the main file, take them out the folder. There was only 2 pictures in there. I think Beatles had the same issue. But what I did was, because I had all your guys anyway, I copied them into the bingo file anyway, then recopied them back into the main folder. So I've got them regardless now. I've got them. Whatever happens, I'll always have them. And if I don't see them in the file, because we're uploading games, it makes sense. It's all good. The only worry, like I said, is the management lineups. This was not Clue's lineup. And I see a few missing. But we'll get it. We'll get the kinky bits sorted between us. So that is it from me today. Thank you for everyone coming in today. We've been graced by the glitterati of the Beatles Eternally channel, including old Beatles himself. So thank you, Beatles Eternally. Thank you, Steve Tate. Thank you to my partners in crime, Big Clue and World's Worst Gamer. Thank you to everyone else who did pop in at some point. Thank you, Steve Tate, as usual, and all that hard work that goes in behind the scenes as well, because it wouldn't be where we're having this fun already if the likes of Beatles and Big Clue and Steve and everybody contributed. Even just turning up today to support is amazing. So I'm sure growing popularity. I think your idea, Beatles Eternally, is a great idea to do the Out of the Park. But I love both games now, to be honest. I'd love to see an Out of the Park baseball as well because of the graphics. But to be honest, the pictures here are so good. The stadiums are really good in action that I feel like I'm not even missing the graphics because I can see Vader Pinson and Mookie Betts running out there today. They ran their asses off today. Excuse my French. I could see Monty Irving diving at short. Young Monty Irving when I don't know if the word is dove. Is that a word? In English it's not. In England it's not. In the UK it's not. But I think it is in America. Where he dove to his right, dust all over his face, got on his knees. I mean, he got on his knees and he threw to first both times, both gems. We saw 2 towering home runs by Barry Bonds, and you could see him swinging the bat. It's really well designed. When it first came out, I did not like the chalkboard. I liked it for F-ball action, but not for everything else. But now I love it. I can't believe how much I enjoy this game. It's sad, actually, because I've got a career. It's like, I'm on holiday, I'm not even gone anywhere. I'm like indoors, 9 o'clock this morning thinking, should I broadcast? So... Yeah, I did a game the other day, Big Clue. Big Clue is saying the OTB graphics, little load runner game stuck in the day, the way the men move. Load runner? What the hell is load runner? But yeah, I think, thanks Beatles, I'll fill assist, absolutely. I did a game the other day with, which I don't want to come off the screen, only because, I will have to at some point, only because I don't want to reveal the score of the previous game, so I can't even load up something else in the meantime. Let's have a look here. Let's have a butcher's hook. I can't even work out what I was looking for then. Yeah. Out of the Park 24.